Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to Creative Grandma's channel. Today's crochet tutorial is for this beginner-friendly, super easy color fusion Afghan. This Afghan measures 44 inches across by 58 inches long. It's a very simple pattern made using Stitch of the Week number 72, the Grandma's 2-stitch. This Afghan is so beautiful using those color fusion yarns where it just fuses those colors into a self-striping design, and then I finished the design off with a single crochet border. Now this stitch pattern is a multiple of 2, so if you wanted to change the size and make it larger or make it smaller, you would use the stitch multiple of 2 where you would chain 2, keep chaining in multiples of 2 until you get it to the width you want, and then start your pattern. So let me tell you everything you're going to need to make this Afghan. For today's project, I used Premier's Colorfusion Chunky yarn, and I also used the Premier Basix Chunky. I used 13 skeins of the Color Fusion and 2 skeins of the Basic Chunky. Now this yarn didn't go quite as far as I thought it would, so I stopped after 13 skeins of the main color because I just didn't want to put any more money into the Afghan. So again, I used 13 skeins of Premier Colorfusion Chunky. This is 109 yards. It's 100 meters, 3.5 ounces, 100 grams. It's 100% acrylic, and I use color number 1174-01 Springtime. This yarn is made in Turkey. It's machine washable and tumble dry, and I liked it because it was a nice bulky number 5 yarn, and it's soft for an acrylic. I was very happy with this yarn. I know some might think the color is really busy, but I just thought it was beautiful color. You know, we're right in the middle of January. January and February is the coldest months of the year here where I live. So I wanted something bright and cheerful, but something really warm and toasty for this time of year. So again, you're going to need 13 skeins of Springtime. And then I also used the Premier Basix Chunky. This also is a number 5 bulky. This comes in 117 yards, 107 meters, 3.5 ounces, 100 gram skeins. It's 100% acrylic. It is very soft for an acrylic. Very, very happy with both of these yarns. And this is also machine wash tumble dry, and that's so important when you have these larger Afghans. You want to be able to throw them in the washer and dryer. So you're going to need 2 skeins of color number 1145-07 yellow, or whichever color you prefer. Now they have many beautiful colors in the Color Fusion, and they have many beautiful solid colors in the Premier Basix Chunky, so you can change these colors to suit your need. Now again, I do want to specify the yarn did not go as far as I wanted it to. The finished size of this Afghan is 44 inches across by 58 inches long. You're also going to need a size L11 or 8mm crochet hook, and you're also going to need a yarn needle for weaving in your ends when you join those skeins of yarn. Now this Afghan is a very simple pattern. This is the Stitch of the Week number 72. This is the Grandma's 2-stitch. Very easy for beginners. It's a simple single crochet row followed by that double stitch here where you work those 2 stitches and skip a stitch, and then because you're working those half double crochets, it leaves a beautiful subtle edge across those half double crochet rows. Let me see if I can pull this up so you can see it a little bit better. You can see how that slight ridging just gives it a really pretty look. So simple. If you're new to crocheting and you just want to crochet something that's fun and easy, then this is for you. And then we finished the Afghan off with this simple single crochet border around the Afghan just to highlight these beautiful colors in the center. So let's jump right in and let's get our Afghan started. To begin our project, I already have my yarn attached to my hook and I just used a double knot. Now with this pattern, it is a multiple of 2, so if you want to adjust the size of your Afghan, you would just chain 2 again, continue and make multiples of 2 chains until you get it to the width you want. Now for today's pattern for the Afghan I'm going to chain 100. You're going to yarn over the hook, pull it through that loop, and that creates your first chain. The loop on your hook does not count as a chain. You're going to yarn over, pull through, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue until you have 100 chains, and I'll be back and we'll start row 1. I'm back. I have my chain with 100 chains, and now we're going to go ahead and start row 1. Now for row 1, we're just going to do a simple basic single crochet row. We're going to skip the first chain, insert into the second chain, and you're going to work a single crochet. Yarn over the hook, pull it through that chain. You have 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You just made a single crochet. Insert into the next chain, work a single crochet. Insert into the next chain, work a single crochet. You're going to continue and work 1 single crochet in each chain across. So let's work a few more together. Insert into the next chain, work a single crochet. Insert into the next chain, work a single crochet. So go ahead and continue and work 1 single crochet in each chain across to the end of the chain, and I'll meet you at the end of row 1. I'm over at the end of my row. I have 1 chain remaining, so I'm just going to insert into the last chain and work my last single crochet. Row 1 is finished, and when you look at your work, you should have 1 single crochet in each chain across, and you'll have a total of 99 single crochet. So this is what your first row should look like. Again, 1 single crochet in each stitch across, and you should have a total of 99 single crochet. Now, if you're new to crocheting, you might want to put a stitch marker into that very first stitch you made of row 1, and then come over and put a stitch marker in the very last stitch that you made, and that way when we turn the row, you're going to know this is your first stitch, and the first stitch of the row will be your last stitch of the next row. So row 1 again is finished, and row 1 is our base row. Row 2 and row 3 will be our repeat rows. So now we're going to begin row 2, which row 2 we're going to be working half double crochets for this next row. We're going to start and chain 1. Now this beginning chain 1 will not count as a stitch. You're going to turn your work. So when you're looking for your stitches, you're going to see these teardrops. This is the top of your stitch. And with this pattern, we're always working under the top 2 loops. You're going under both of those top 2 loops of each stitch when you're working this pattern. So we're going to skip that beginning chain 1. You're going to yarn over the hook and insert into the very first stitch, yarn over and pull back through that stitch. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You just made a half double crochet. So now we're going to start the repeat, very simple repeat with this pattern. So if you need help, you can just click back on the video to where I say this is the start of the repeat, work until I say this is the end of the repeat, and you're going to repeat that across to the end of the row. So let's begin. You're going to yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert under the top 2 loops of that next stitch, yarn over, pull back through that stitch. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You just made your half double crochet. You're going to yarn over, insert back into that same stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. We just work 2 half double crochet into that same stitch. So now, since I showed you in detail how to do those half double crochets, I'm just going to work the stitch now. You're going to yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work 2 half double crochets. 1, yarn over, insert back into that same stitch, work your second half double crochet, and that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2, and that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. Yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, and work 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. Let's do it one more time, and then you can continue on your own. You're going to yarn over the hook, skip the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, work 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. And that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue on your own. If you need help, just click back on the video. You're going to skip the next stitch, 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, and then repeat. Skip the next stitch, 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that to the end of the row, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at the end of row 2. I have 2 chains remaining, and we're going to end with our repeat by skipping the next chain and working 2 half double crochet into that very last chain. There's 1, yarn over, insert back into that last chain, and work your second half double crochet. So when you get to the end of the row 2, if you do not end your repeat in that very last stitch, then go ahead and double check your work. Make sure that your first row had the right amount of chains. You should have chained 100 with 99 stitches, and row 2 will determine whether you did that correctly. So again, if you did not end the repeat in that very last chain, then this is the perfect time to just rip that out, recheck your work, and start over. So now we're ready to begin row 3. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Now for row 3, very simple row, we're going to be working 1 single crochet in each half double crochet across. Now when you look at your work, I do not want my new crocheters to get confused. This is the side of your work. You must turn your work to see the top of those stitches. So when you work that half double crochet, you're going to get a sidebar on those stitches. So make sure you're not going under the 2 side stitches. You're going to skip that beginning chain 1, insert under the top 2 loops of that first stitch. Again, skip that sidebar and make sure you're going under the top 2 loops, work a single crochet. Look for your next stitch. Again, turn your work because your stitches are to the top and to the back. Insert under the top 2 loops, work your single crochet. And what that does is it forms a ridge on the front of your work for a decorative look. So we're going to continue. Here's your next stitch. Insert under the top 2 loops. Again, turn your work. Make sure you're going under the top 2 loops, which is to the top and to the back. Work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch under the top 2 loops. Work a single crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and work a couple more stitches with you. Single crochet into the next stitch, going under the top 2 loops. Work a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch. And again, when you look at your work, you're going to see that sidebar, make that decorative edging on your stitch pattern. So go ahead and continue and work 1 single crochet under the top 2 loops of each stitch across to the end of your work, and I'll meet you at the end of row 3. I'm over at the end of row 3. I have 1 stitch remaining, and when you're at the end of the row, if you carry those stitch markers up, then you should have a stitch marker into this last stitch. So just turn your work, look for the top of that stitch, insert under both of those top 2 loops, work your single crochet. Row 3 is finished, so now to continue working on your Afghan, you're just going to repeat rows 2 and row 3 over and over until you get to the end of row 117. So if you need help, just click back on the video. Again, you're going to repeat rows 2 and row 3 and repeat that again and again until you get to the end of row 117, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at the end of row 117. This is what your work should look like. So this, I'm going to just try to show it to you. It's rather large. It's just such a nice, beautiful yarn to work with. I just had so much fun. I love these chunky yarns. They make up in a jiffy. So this is what it looks like. So now we're just going to go up to the top and we're just going to fasten off our work. So let me put my hook back in the end. So again, I'm over at the end of row 117. I worked in each stitch across, and now I'm just going to fasten off. Now when I fasten off, I like to leave a longer length just so I can get my yarn needle in there and weave in these ends. So when I fasten off, I chain 2. 1, 2, pull my hook up, pull that yarn out, grab the yarn, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. Now you can fasten off in whichever way you prefer. So now we're getting ready to put our border on, so I'm going to grab my yellow and I'll be back and we'll get started. So I have my next color ready. I have my yellow already attached to my hook, and I just used a double knot. So this is where we fastened off of row 117. This is the right side of the work. So we're not going to turn our work. We're just going to return to the beginning of row 117. So you're just going to come over to the top right hand corner of the Afghan. You're going to come over to that very first stitch. You're going to insert under the top 2 loops of that first stitch. Now, if you have a different way of joining your yarn, you can go ahead and join your yarn in whichever method you prefer. I'm going to yarn over my hook, pull it through that stitch, and pull it through the loop on my hook, and it just makes a nice secure joining of that yarn. We're going to chain 1. You're going to insert right back into that same stitch under the top 2 loops, work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet. Into the next stitch, work a single crochet. We're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch across to the next corner. Insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch. Continue and work 1 single crochet in each stitch across to the next corner, and I'll meet you at the corner. I'm over at my first corner. This is round 1 of the border. We're working in our yellow, and we worked 1 single crochet in each stitch across to the corner. I have 1 stitch to go. I'm going to work a single crochet into that last stitch. Now to form our corner, you're going to chain 2. And now we're going to go ahead and start working down our length of our Afghan, and we're going to be working into the row end stitches. So this is the first row. We're going to be going underneath and around that post of that stitch. Then you're going to look for your next row. It's right below with the half double crochet stitches. You're going right between that end stitch and that chain 1, working underneath that. and then you're just going to follow the row over. So if you're not sure, it's always best to go back where you can see the stitches, follow those stitches down to find your row end stitch. Here's your row end stitch. Here's your next row, follow it down, just insert right in the edge of that row. Then find your next row, follow the stitches down. It's the easiest way to know where your row end stitches are. So let's go ahead and begin working down the edge or the side of our Afghan. Insert into the first row end stitch, and I'm working a single crochet right around that stitch. Insert into the next row end stitch, work a single crochet. And again, if you're not sure, follow those stitches down and insert at the edge of the row. Insert into the next row end stitch, work a single crochet. Find your next row. It's down here where your half double crochet are. Insert right into the edge of that row, work a single crochet. Find your next row end stitch. Here's your single crochets, follow them down, insert into that row end stitch, work a single crochet. And you're going to repeat that method all the way down to the next corner. So go ahead and work one single crochet in each row end stitch down to the next corner, and I'll meet you at the next corner. I'm over at my second corner. I just worked down the length of my Afghan. Now I did forget to mention, when you worked across the top of the Afghan, you're going to have 99 single crochet, and when you're working your border of round 1 and you come down the side of your Afghan, you're going to have 117 single crochet stitches. So if you think something's wrong, then go ahead and count those stitches. Very easy to count. You're going to have 117 going down your length. So I have one more row to go. I'm over at the corner. I'm going to insert right into that last row end stitch, and I'm going to work a single crochet. So to form the corner, we're going to chain 2. And now we're ready to begin working across the bottom of our foundation chain. So this is my little end of where I started my chain. You're going to see here is your first chain. I'm going to insert into that first chain, and I'm just going to work over this end, work a single crochet. Find your next chain, and you can look at the base of your stitches. So if you're not sure where your chains are, when you look at the base of row 1, you're going to see these stitches have 2 prongs for that single crochet. At the bottom of those 2 prongs is your chain. So here's a chain, here's 2 prongs, it comes down to a V, that's the next chain. And then again, here's your V, this is your next chain, and that is another way of finding your chains. Now, with a big hook like this, if you use your tip of your finger, you can also find those chains. They're very large and easy to find. Insert into the next chain, work a single crochet. Insert into the next chain, work a single crochet. Now, if you have an end like me, then it's just really easy to work those stitches right over that end as you're working those single crochet. I'm working one single crochet into each chain across. And again, you can just follow those stitches down to the base of the stitch, work a single crochet. So go ahead and continue and work one single crochet in each chain across, and I'll meet you at the next corner. I'm over at my third corner. I just worked across the bottom of the foundation row in each chain, and for new crocheters, this may confuse you a little bit when you get to the corner of not knowing where your corner is or where the last stitch is. So again, you're going to look at the last stitch of the row above, follow it down, and you see you have one stitch remaining. So just insert into that last stitch. You can see that V at the bottom of that single crochet. Insert into that last stitch, work your single crochet. So now we're going to form our corner, and we're going to chain 2. So now we're ready to work down the length of our Afghan. And again, when you're working down the length of your Afghan, you're just going to follow those stitches over. This is your first row. The next row is those half double crochets. You're going right into that edge of that row. The next row is single crochet. You're going right into the edge of that single crochet row. Drop down to the next row, which is half double crochet, and you're going right into the edge of that row. Same as you did on the opposite side. Now again, when you're working this pattern, the top and bottom will have 99 single crochet, and the sides of your work you're going to have 117 stitches. So let's begin working down the last side of our Afghan. Look for your first row, which is right here, and you're going to insert right into the edge of that stitch, work a single crochet. Find your next row. Here's the half double crochet row. Insert into the edge of that row, work a single crochet. Insert into the next row and stitch, work a single crochet. Insert into the next row and stitch, which is the half double crochet row, work a single crochet. Insert into the next row and stitch. Here's your single crochet row. Follow it down to the edge, work a single crochet. Insert into the next row and stitch, work a single crochet. Continue and work one single crochet in each row and stitch down to the last corner, and I'll meet you there. I just worked down the last side of our Afghan. Sorry, this is up close. The Afghan's way too big to get in the viewfinder. So we worked one single crochet in each row and stitch down the length. I have one row remaining. You can see that row right here. I'm going to insert into that last row, work a single crochet. And to end the round, we're going to chain 2 for our corner. And then you're going to join into the top of that first single crochet. So we're skipping this chain 1 that we started the round with, and you'll see your first single crochet is right here where that teardrop is. Insert under the top 2 loops and slip stitch. So round 1 is finished. So now we're going to go ahead and start round 2, which will be easier because you're going to be able to see your stitches. We're going to begin and chain 1, and the chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Insert back into that same beginning stitch, going under the top 2 loops, work a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch, and again each stitch should go under the top 2 loops, work a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and continue and work one single crochet in each stitch across to your next corner chain 2 space, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my first corner chain 2 space. This is round 2. We worked one single crochet in each single crochet across, and then we come to our corner chain 2 space. So to work our corner, we're going to work a single crochet into that corner chain 2 space. You're going to chain 2, insert back into that corner chain 2 space, and work a single crochet. You just transitioned from the top of your Afghan, you made your corner, and now we're going down the side of our Afghan. So to work down the side of the Afghan, we're going to do exactly what we did across the top. We're going to work one single crochet in each stitch down to the next corner chain 2 space. So just insert into that very next stitch, work a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next, and you're just going to work one single crochet in each stitch down to the next corner. So for this round, I'm not going to repeat myself so many times because it is such a simple repeat. So if you need help, you can click back on the video. You're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch down to that next corner, and when you get to the corner, you're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet into your corner chain 2 space, and then you're going to start all over and repeat that around the remaining sides. So again, 1 single crochet in each stitch across to your corner chain 2 space. When you get to the corner chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the corner chain 2 space, and repeat that around the remaining 3 sides, and I'll meet you at the end of round 2. I'm over at the end of round 2. We just worked 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and when you get to that corner chain 2 space, then we're working a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet into the corner chain 2 space. So when you get to the end of round 2, you're going to be ending in the corner chain 2 space itself. And now we're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning single crochet. Skip that beginning chain 1, insert under the top 2 loops of that first single crochet, and slip stitch. Round 2 is finished. So now to continue the border, you're just going to click back on the video and you're going to repeat round 2 3 more times. So you're going to be working 1 single crochet in each single crochet around to the corner chain 2 space. And when you get to that corner chain 2 space, you're going to be working a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the corner chain 2 space. Now when you look at your work, you're going to repeat row 2, but every time you repeat row 2, you're going to be further across on the row. So after you work your last corner of a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, you need to remember to work into the remaining single crochets that were unworked when you started the round. So again, let me get you started. You're going to chain 1. You're going to insert into that same joining stitch, work a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. Continue and work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Again, when you get to the corner chain 2 spaces, you're going to be working a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the corner chain 2 space, and then you're going to finish the round by working a single crochet in any remaining single crochet stitches on the top of your work, and then you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning single crochet. So go ahead, click back on the video if you need help. You're going to repeat round 2 3 more times, and I'll meet you at the end of round 5. I'm over at the end of round 5. I just worked in my last corner chain 2 space, and when you look at your work, you're going to notice that this is where you started your round, so you still need to finish crocheting in each one of these stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and work 1 single crochet in each remaining stitch across to that beginning single crochet. So when you get over here, you're going to notice what I call the joining bar. It's just a horizontal bar that looks like a stitch, but it really isn't. So this is one part where the new crocheters have trouble. You have to remember this is not a stitch. You can see here is our last stitch. We worked in that. So now we're going to skip that horizontal bar. You're going to skip that beginning chain 1. You're going to insert under the top 2 loops of that first single crochet of round 5 and slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. So round 5 is finished. I'm just going to go ahead and fasten off, and I like to leave a little bit longer length. It just makes it easier. I like to weave my ends in on the back, bring them back through the back of the stitches, then back across, then back a third time to really make them secure. So when I fasten off, I chain 2, 1, 2, pull my hook up, pull the yarn out, grab the yarn, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. So I'm going to go ahead and weave in my ends, and I'll be back and show you the finished Afghan. Our Afghan is finished. I want to thank everyone for stopping by today and crocheting along with me. Now we have many patterns available on our website. If you'd like to check them out, I'll leave a link in the description box underneath this video, and you can view all the patterns Creative Grandma has to offer. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure you hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the crochet fun. So until next time, stay inspired and happy crocheting, everyone.